Today we'll be going over the May 2025 recap post. This one's actually really exciting, so without further ado, let's get into the details. On May 18th, the animator livestream was hosted on the Trixel Creative Discord server. I did attend and I made a few GIFs. There might be a second one, so if you haven't already joined the Discord server, this is probably a reason you should. There's also a new preview song, and it's called Nana's Reading Nook, and it's up on Trixel Creative YouTube account, so you should go check it out. And finally, the movement animation update, which is pretty cool. Cosmetics just got an upgrade, as some like the bee ears are now bouncy, which looks pretty good to be honest. New icon generation is currently in development and it looks like this. This will also show up in the workshop. The collision tool has got an upgrade. Items with no collision will be highlighted at the click of a button. Gameplay camera settings. These settings will allow you to change the camera's position. These are overridden by camera zones and these actually look pretty configurable. There are a bunch of new outfit sets like this cardboard skin or the military outfit. I guess Stuffy being a trained vet and knowing how to use a gun is now canon, so we're about 1/4 the way there until Stuffy can wield a Uzi. So it's pretty exciting. Can't wait to see that in the next recap. Also, some light sources that we saw in the last recap. You should watch the last video for all the information about that. Have been textured and no longer look like blocks of tofu. Speaking of last video, we have more stamps to design Stuffy. This new clothing template will help development of Restitched. You look at the bottom here, it says I used those parts to make this outfit here. Personally, you know, letting out my inner detective, I do think this is the super ooper duper secret Stuffy costume, so yeah, I think I'm right. This medical costume has just received a new texture and now it includes a paw print pattern. Trixel have also shown some new skins. You know, we don't really have any names for them yet, so I'm just gonna give them some new names. I don't know, not naming that. The Mummy, the Clean Sheets, I don't know either. The Giraffe, the John Cena, the Drug Trip, the Sandman, the Cardboard, the Dodgeball, the Soil, the Sewage System, the Tinfoil, and the Zebra. These better all be the names, alright? Now for the wardrobe section. First we have Bill O'Reilly costume. As you can probably tell, this is based off Shakespeare. I can't really say much about the outfit though, as there's no item names, but it looks pretty cool. Trixel have also shown off the sports jersey. And I think the smaller text is funny, so I'm just going to read it out. Stuffy hasn't the first clue about sports, but they said the jersey was pretty comfy anyways. They also shown off this night outfit, which actually looks really cool again, but none of the items are named, so for now I can't really... I mean, like, I could guess, but I don't really know. The rat base has just been updated to include massive ears, so now you can hear things from like 50 miles away. And this would probably go well with the sewage skin as well, so it's really good for the rat enjoyers. And the new magic wand toy. So this puts us at like 2/4 of the way there until we get an Uzi. So we're definitely seeing it in the next recap. And finally, the last thing of the wardrobe section, a bunch of new hairstyles. Continuing this trend though, none of them are named, and I'm not going to give them names again, so if you really want to, feel free to name them. Kicking off the gameplay section, we have an extremely interesting feature, the hook shot. Have you ever wanted to be Spider-Man Stuffy Cross? Well, you're in luck, because this behavior is accessible in the settings and will allow you to do something like this. And finally, yes, this is literally the end. This new double jump feature, which is pretty self-explanatory, but will also be accessed via the settings. Although it's worthy to know that these features are still in development and may change. I didn't know concepts could be so information overload, but this logic concept makes my brain freeze. And here below we have tons of information overload. If you want to read it, go ahead, you know, be my guest. And here we also have a concept for an item info page, which is part of the workshop. Here it says it should support multiple screenshots and levels that were recommended to you. Starting things off with the color balance update, which pretty much means that non-interactive headings will become white to be more noticeable, I guess. And the settings menu is practically being finished. The shape key and deformers, you know, previously used for clothing items like the plush pineapple head, and others. Apparently got a mind of their own and decided to annoy the Tricks or creative team just for the laughs, you know, while they're struggling to patch it, which is honestly kind of respectable in a way. And the same trend continues with the cardboard boxes, because I guess they're not bothered, you know, they're not going to move out the way when they're getting blown up. There's also a stamp import bug where the stamps look like this. A small oversight with our custom stamp editor tool. This physics shape regenerates itself to match a new graphic. When you import in one place of an existing stamp, for example, if you place a rubber duck stamp and swap its image with a triangle, the physics shape will still be a rubber duck, meaning that anything within that shape will not render when placed. There was another stamp bug that caused stamps in certain areas of Stuffy to not have any lighting, like the neck. Stuffy can now become dizzy when being spun on the pedestal in the wardrobe, which means that this poor bear is probably going to be spun like a fidget spinner when this game actually comes out. The devs know what they're doing, they want to watch Stuffy suffer. This is like their favourite pastime. They also improved the transition between rise and fall, which I probably had on screen just now. The animated live stream emotes are all featured here as well. And if you want a little insight to a fun fact, then I was the one who suggested the jazz hands emote. This created a bunch of memes which I personally had nothing to do with, and I'm not lying, and this is all totally true. We're almost at the end of the video, but first let's get into sound effects and music. Sound effects are being created like falling wind, hopping up, climbing down, undo and redo in the wardrobe, selecting a tool in the toolbar. Apparently Thomas has locked himself in his room and grinding because Halston didn't have time to import all of the music he made. Captain Stuffy, for all of you that don't know, is sort of a side project, a comic, and it's planned to be released this year. The Grandiose Tales of Captain Stuffy. Last year we announced that this comic would be released in 2025 as a complete collection with limited physical prints. Screenshots. Here we have Lara Croft and Silent Stuffy. This is about to get Trixel a second cease and desist, and this screenshot of a test level actually looks really good. I mean, the bling bubbles, which look even cooler with the rainbow sticker in the back, and you know, this just makes me excited to make levels. And finally, we have the Trixel Spotlight, where I actually make an appearance twice, so I just want to thank you guys and whoever makes these recap posts for being on here. And that's it. If you enjoyed today's video, then you should probably like and subscribe, and you know, go watch another one.